I'm Symphonie Privett. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with some uplifting stories across the country. We're kicking things off with a little bit of a history lesson today. Back in the 1960s, during the Civil Rights Movement, college students led a sit-in at a North Carolina restaurant, hoping to spark change and challenge racial inequality. Manning Frank introduces us to some of the restaurant's employees who had a front row seat to the fight for justice.
The Woolworth lunch counter holds an abundance of hallowed history.
Working in the dish room was tough. It was tough work.
Not just for Greensboro, but for all of civil rights.
Friday nights, stayed up to 9 o'clock, and only one person worked in the dish room.
Now it's also the site of a reunion over 60 years in the making.
There he is right there. This is it right here.
William Tyson Sr. and Charlie Bess used to be co-workers back during the days of Woolworth.
I started working here like July of 1960, and we worked with Charles until Charles left and went to another job. That was in yeah.
I worked another job in '61.
William, a busboy, and Charles, who worked behind the counter.
We were supposed to be leaving at about 5:36.
5:30.
But sometimes we worked till 7:30. Get out of here.
Took us a long time to get out of here. You sure did.
Charles Bess was famously the worker in this photo during the sit-in movement by the A&T 4.
They didn't sit because they were hungry. They wanted to change. They were hungry for a change.
William Tyson Sr. started working at Woolworth only a few months after the sit-in started in February.
I was determined I was going to make it because I wanted to go to college, and this is how I worked my way through college, working at Woolworth. So this place laid a foundation for my life.
William later graduated from A&T University and was drafted into the Army in 1966.
These bring back old memories, I'm telling you.
For a year, these men were not just co-workers, they were friends.
Miss Ho, she came up there and said, she said, what's going on? I want this right here. I told her I'm working hard as I can.
Now fast forward to 2025, and for them, it's like time has never passed.
I won't forget this day. This day will go down in history as a blessed day that I will never forget. Because working with Charles brings back a lot of memories. Yes, good memories.
In Greensboro, I'm Manning Franks.
All right, we're going just a bit deeper into the South to Texas now. And when children are taken out of home, sometimes they have to place their belongings in a trash bag. And that trash bag is all they have as they cycle through different foster homes. And I want you to think about that. There is an effort underway in Dallas to give children just a little more dignity as they go through these big life transitions. And it's something 14-year-old Jonathan here knows all too well. He's been wishing for his forever family for nearly 10 years now.
It's hard because I just want to stay somewhere, and I just moving, and I just want to stay one place and stay there.
Oh, this one's yours, and it's brand.
Jonathan's caseworker says the luggage foster children carry should represent what they deserve.
They need good quality bags. When they move, they have to put their entire livelihood in a bag that's falling apart. That tells them what they're worth, and I need my kids personally to know that they are worth more than that and have a good quality bag to move their belongings in.
Now, according to Child Care Protective Services, on average, kids move at least 4 times while in foster care. And Jonathan's caseworker says having a small gift like quality luggage can make a big difference. Alrighty, now if you have a little one, you know diapers are not cheap and you go through them pretty quickly. According to the National Diaper Bank Network, 1 in 2 families with young children just can't afford them. So this can lead to health issues like rashes and infections, as some families may decide to keep a soiled diaper on just a little longer than it needs to be. When federal assistance falls short, diaper banks step in to fill the need. And one in Indiana is rolling out a unique way to help families.
Our whole idea was like an ice cream truck, kind of feel, but only free diapers. And so we literally just pull up into areas, open the windows, and give out free diapers and wipes.
The National Diaper Bank Network has more than 225 diaper banks across the country. If you're looking for one in your area, just dial 211. All right, now an elementary school in Illinois is helping to strengthen the bond between teachers and students. Jenna Webster explains how it all starts at the library, one of my favorite places, and how it transforms on Fridays.
What sounds good today?
At Hamilton Elementary,
Do you want to pick a book?
students are known to arrive early.
Maybe a few?
Because on Friday mornings, the library
This one's cute on short hair.
becomes the hair salon.
I'm gonna fix your part here really quick. Good morning.
Allison Olson is part teacher,
Tatum, are you in kindergarten, Tatum?
part hairstylist.
I can usually do most braids, but they do have other ideas they've seen.
It's kind of an Elsa braid. Are you okay with that?
I like the different hairstyles, and I like the design.
There's relationship building across grade levels and across teachers that they maybe don't get to see all the time.
The Books and Braid Salon all started when the former computer lab manager was asked to braid a student's hair.
She was a foster student. She was going to a new family. And she just wanted to feel good that day before she met her new family. And she said the teacher noticed her confidence just changed. She was ready. She was smiling more. And we just felt like, how can we make this work for a building of 600?
What started with a group of 20
See how this hair is hanging?
has now grown to 90, including Aylin Hernandez-Cruz.
That's the one thing that makes me happy on Fridays, the kids just having smiles on their faces.
She's part fifth grader, part hairstylist.
Yeah.
She's new to Hamilton, too.
That's also why I kind of also volunteered, just to get to know a lot more kids.
Call a library book their form of payment.
I know you can read this. You're in my reading group.
I just don't want to read out loud.
Although for some,
I like the pictures and the colors.
reading can be a loose term.
I like the little crazy bun.
And if you're second grader Esme Nelson, you're not here for the braids at all.
Because I'm crazy.
Right, about one more minute.
No matter the hairstyle, on Fridays, the classroom becomes the catwalk for the latest trend.
Oh, eyes on me.
Shh. Because at this school, feeling good about learning starts bright and early at the library salon.
You feel good?
In Moline.
Yeah? You can stay and hang out and read. You can talk to your friends.
Jenna Webster.
That is so awesome. I love that story. Now, there is no shortage of bookstores in Buffalo, New York. There's also no shortage of support among business owners. Christina Muffaletto recently opened Afterglow Books in the area, and she says there is a growing sisterhood out there as other women-owned bookstores have welcomed her with open arms.
The best thing about being a women-owned business is just that everyone, all the other women-owned businesses have your back.
Christina says they even organize events and host book clubs together. Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm in 2 book clubs right now. She says her purpose for opening a bookstore was not to make money, but rather spread the joy and love of reading to others. Now, every community has something special that they can call their own, like a fair or some other local attraction. Here in Connecticut, we're known for our pizza. And it's pretty tasty, too. Sean Martinelli tells us about a Maryland man who gives his community its distinct identity without ever being seen.
In every city, there is a soundtrack. From a wind's whisper to a siren's roar. But in downtown Frederick, the main track is this.
Mesmerizing.
It reminds me of Christmas every time I hear it.
If you're around here as often and as long as I have been, that's something you latch on to because it's a very special sound.
In this tower, up those 50 winding steps, that mesmerizing music brews from a man not wearing shoes.
An aerobic workout.
That's John Widman, performing on what's called a carillon. There are fewer than 200 of them in the United States. John learned to play in college, then became the city's official carillioner.
Oh, that's a story too.
On a whim.
And I went by and I was being played by the carillioner then. I came up and introduced myself to him and I played for him. He said, well, that's great. Sometimes I need to come out of town. Here's my number, give me a call. I never heard from him.
Until one day when John arrived at his doorstep to a surprise.
And there was an envelope, a yellow envelope with my name on it, misspelled. I opened the envelope and all that's in the envelope is a brass key.
A key to the carillon. The previous player packed up and moved. 33 years later, John's been on that bench ever since.
You can't sell tickets because you can hear it for blocks.
Once a week, music flows through the streets and into the lives of those who listen.
At Sundays at 12:30, he's always up there. It's something here in Frederick that anchors people.
Definitely brings up the spirit a little bit. Yeah.
As my grandchildren have grown up, and I have 4 of them, pretty much through their toddler phase, the Carillon was always a destination for us. And they would always keep asking me how much more time, till it got to the top of the hour and they knew the Carillon would go off.
John may not know all those who hear his work. He does know this.
Yeah, I made somebody happy. There's so many things unhappy in our world. It's good that something can make people happy, or making them remember, or be romantic, or whatever. Music moves you.
And that's enough to move John to play on. In Frederick, Maryland, Sean Martinelli.
Alrighty, don't go too far. You might miss what's coming up on Featured, including a dream that almost didn't happen for this professional bodybuilder, but she refused to give up. You want to stick around for that. Plus, representation matters, and a comic book publisher in Iowa would agree. We'll show you how he is using his platform to share untold stories that we normally don't get to see. And a little bit later, many kids just love Peppa Pig. Peppa. I catch it here and there. Well, if you love it too, there's a theme park that is making sure all kids can get in on the family fun. We'll take you there right after the break. Welcome back. Now, when you think about comic books, which characters come to mind? You probably think of Superman, Batman, or maybe even Spider-Man. Well, Alex Fulton introduces us to a comic book publisher who is creating characters to represent people who look like him.
This is Azrael. She is the warrior princess from Earth.
Flipping through Bazia Afia's comic books, the pages are filled with black characters.
That is the bread and butter of what I do, bringing authentic representation to science fiction and fantasy.
Afia is the owner of Sin Cell Studios, Iowa's first black-owned comic book publishing company.
It means sequential art, but it's actually from an ancient form of storytelling. They would draw on folded pieces of paper.
3 years ago, Afia started his business as a way to tell the untold black stories.
Usually when we get black stories, it's about segregation or slavery. And I want to see more black kings. I want to see more uplifting of black cultures and black characters.
To date, he has published 4 comic books, all set in outer space, featuring only black characters.
The AIs in there are modeled after black historical figures like Mansa Musa, Pharaoh Taharka, Jomo Kenyatta, just a bunch of different people from Pan-African history.
Afia also uses his identity as a veteran as inspiration for characters.
Realizing that the veteran voice is a minority as well, and they deserve to be heard as well. So in one of my books, I also incorporated that in there.
At the end of the day, Afia just wants black kids to see themselves in comic books.
We can be the main character, our culture can be celebrated, we can have cool animations and be in sci-fi and fantasy and all these things.
What a great story by Alex Fulton. Now, I want you to come check this out. It is the first of its kind in America. Get a good look. This is a wildlife experience without the animals. We're checking out the Zoocade. It is the country's first holographic zoo featuring about 15 animals. All of them are made out of 3D art, projectors, and some special software. Visitors can walk through the high-tech hologram tunnel where the animals bounce off the walls and fly in the air with them.
It feels like it's right in front of you and around you. So they jump out, some of the animals, and there's a lot of screaming in the tunnels, especially when you've got young girls.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how I feel about that. The zoo can also take you to different places around the world, including Africa and Australia, or you can even go back in time to visit the dinosaurs. Sounds pretty cool. Alrighty, now if your kid loves Peppa Pig, you might want to plan for a quick little weekend getaway to Texas. A new Peppa Pig theme park just opened up in North Texas. And if you think it's like any other park out there, think again. Sean Giggy shows us how the new park is designed to make neurodivergent people feel a little more comfortable than what would normally be an overwhelming setting.
With a target demographic smaller than
it's a tight fit
me
for a 6'5" guy,
it may seem like the new Peppa Pig theme park in North Richland Hills isn't for everyone.
All right, riders.
But step inside and you'll discover that it truly is for everyone.
I love being able to tell my friends in the autism community that this is a friendly space for our kiddos.
Heather Dearmore says for someone with autism, like her 7-year-old daughter Acacia, theme parks can be intimidating.
Is that fun?
Yes.
Filled with sights, sounds, and textures that make it uninviting.
Yeah.
Julie Estrada, who works for Merlin, the company that owns the park, has seen it far too often.
Families would travel but don't because they don't think that the location that they're going to is going to be a good experience for their kids.
Heather says that's true.
We've never gone to a theme park, and we're from Southern California. We didn't do Disneyland or anything. It's just too overwhelming.
But Peppa Pig was designed differently.
Do you want to ride the boat?
Sensory guides allow parents to plan ahead, explaining how each attraction may affect their child. Most rides are either sensory friendly or handicap accessible.
Are you loving this?
And sensory activities are scattered throughout.
She could play in sand all day long if I let her.
But perhaps most meaningful, every staff member receives autism-focused training.
We really want our families to experience memories that will last a lifetime.
Thanks to the park's recognition as a certified autism center, this week.
That was Sean Giggy reporting. Now is a good time to maybe grab a little snack, but make sure you come right back. We're talking about what's buzzing online. Have you heard of the Wednesday waffle? Yeah, we're not talking about food. I have the deets on what it is and a look at why it's resonating with a lot of folks on social media. Plus, what's in a nickname? Well, athletic abilities aren't the only thing standing out at this year's NFL Combine. So are the nicknames. You want to stick around for that story. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's check out what's trending on social media. Now, the older we get, it can be harder to keep up with your best friends. You know, we all have our own lives. Some folks are parents, some are booked and busy professionally. But one TikTok user is sharing how he and his buddies stay connected, no matter the distance.
Introduce you to a concept called the Wednesday waffle, which is a video me and 3 friends all send off to each other every Wednesday, a 1 to 2 minute video, just updating the others on what's been happening in your life.
Zachary Perez and his friends got the idea during the pandemic, and he says it was hard to schedule a weekly time for everyone to meet up, so they began sending short videos to each other about the good, bad, big, or small moments of their lives every Wednesday, right in the middle of the week. Now, as for the waffle part, it's a slang term in Australia that means talking at length without a certain intention. I love that. And many people on social media are loving the trend too. Some of them even reached out to Perez saying they now have deeper bonds with their friends and family because of the Wednesday waffle. I love that. Now, my besties, we typically catch up in a group chat or do a little group FaceTime at the end of the week, and it just makes me feel so much closer to them, even though I am clear across the country right now. All right, now, have a little throwback for you today. Remember when the main form of communication was simply picking up the phone, maybe one on a landline, or with the cord rather, say that, cord and cordless. Well, many Gen Zers say picking up the phone and actually talking to someone is just too much to handle. Some of them are now taking college classes to get over it. Wow, it's called telephobia. Now, here's what Fortune magazine had to say about this. The magazine released a report showing Gen Z, which includes folks between the ages of 13 and 28, do not like to answer or make phone calls. The report says the group grew up texting and instant messaging, and they find phone calls stressful because they just don't have the time to collect their thoughts before responding. Now, to help out, Nottingham College in the UK is offering classes so people can overcome their fear. Wow. No judgment here. We listen and we don't judge. The coffee shop owner is getting a latte love in New York after her emotional cry for help. Check this out.
I just got word that I might not be able to stay in the same lease because of rent increase, which is the reality for so many people. It just feels like you just can't win. Like the small people can't win.
Oh man, you just feel for her. That's Rachel. She's a co-owner of the Brooklyn-based Buddy's Coffee Shop, and she shared her struggles as a small business owner, saying she not only has to deal with rising rent prices right now, but also a coffee giant setting up shop right next door to her cafe. Oh man, well, the video, here's some good news. It resonated with more than 6.7 million viewers, and one of them you might know.
I am walking over to his coffee shop.
Hey, look at that. Joe Jonas of the Jonas Brothers. He's just one of the many folks who threw Rachel some support after she posted that video. And let me tell you guys, folks showed up and showed out in Brooklyn. Other videos online show people lining the block, all waiting to get their hands on a cup of Joe at Buddy's Coffee. Great ending to that story. Now, don't go too far. We've got much more for you ahead on Featured. Now, whoever said learning can't be fun probably never met these students in Seattle. We'll show you how they are using a popular game to redesign history. Plus, we meet a trailblazing former detective in Connecticut who paved the way for other women who joined the force after her. Thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphonie Privett, and we are continuing to bring you some uplifting stories from across the country. Let's take you to Hartford, Connecticut now to meet a former detective who left her mark on the city's police department. She paved the way for a growing female force. She set her sights high with aspirations of breaking gender barriers and serving the community she loved. Now, I had the honor of giving Deborah Callis her flowers while she can still smell them. Take a look.
I did 27 years at the Hartford Police Department, some of the best years of my life.
Deborah Callis always knew she wanted to serve her community. She didn't have to look far for inspiration. 70 years ago, 8-year-old Deborah stared in awe as she watched Hartford policewoman Ella Brown speak during a career day assembly at her school.
She had on a navy blue suit. Just like it was yesterday, I can remember.
Brown was the first black woman to be hired at the Hartford Police Department in 1943. Callis describes Brown as a powerhouse and a staple in the community. As much as Callis wanted to follow the path Brown opened for other women, that was a dream that had to be deferred.
In my household, my parents had other thoughts. They wanted me to be a nurse or a teacher, because that was the standard thing in those days.
So instead, Callis continued her schooling. At one point, she got involved in the civil rights movement.
We'd take buses, we'd go to Washington, we'd protest. I enjoyed all of that, but in the back of my head, I wanted to be a police officer.
Callis decided it was time to move full speed ahead on that dream. She did so with support from the same woman who inspired her all those years ago.
She said one thing: I didn't have anybody that had my back. She said I had to develop my own backbone. She says, but I've got you, and I will be there for you as long as I can, and you can come to me anytime.
Callis says back then, women had to have either a nursing degree or a few years of college under their belt before becoming officers. Once she knocked out a few college courses, she applied. And in 1973, Callis became the second black policewoman at the Hartford Police Department.
There were experiences that we'd laugh about, and there were experiences that it took us months to get over.
She climbed the ranks, and in 1980, became the first black woman detective at HPD.
Missing persons, and I worked juvenile, I worked in crimes against persons, I worked in auto theft, I worked them all.
Being a detective is probably one of the most challenging positions to acquire, especially in this male-dominant environment that we're currently working in.
HPD Deputy Chief Sonia Watson says the department has a history of being progressive.
I know that in January, another PD just actually promoted their first black female, so some 40 plus years later, right, some PDs are still just now coming on board with the idea that females in general and minorities can actually coexist in every division.
When Callis retired in 2000, she made sure to pay it forward to other women in the department, like Ella Brown did for her.
My first contact with them is, hi, let me take you aside. And this is what you need to know. And also, in closing, I'm there for you. And my group of women down there, it was just fantastic. We really ruled the department, though.
Yeah, that's right. We all know ladies really run this thing. It is so cool to hear stories like Miss Callis's straight from the horse's mouth, you know, and to see all the little newspaper articles and old photos from her time on the force. Thank you for your service, Miss Callis. Well, just like many police departments, construction, it's long been a male-dominated industry, but hey, that didn't keep Haley Skidmore from taking on the job. She is a project engineer in Buffalo, New York. Haley works with contractors to make sure everything is on schedule. Now, she has a message for other women who may be interested in a career in construction.
But it's definitely one of those things where you have to try to get over the imposter syndrome, and especially when you're in rooms and meetings with all men, just reminding yourself to be confident and that you deserve to be in the room as much as anyone else.
Now, Haley is a member of NAWIC. That's the National Association of Women in Construction. She says the organization helped her build bonds with other women, including Marie Patton, who is the president of the Buffalo branch.
Sometimes we have childcare issues. Sometimes we have issues with people that we're working with that are different from the ones that men have. So it's really important to be able to have that network of women that you know is going to be there to support you.
Regardless of the roadblocks, women continue to pave the way in an industry dominated by men. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the rate of women in construction in the U.S. has grown by 2% since 2010, and we love to see it. Now, a mother of 5 is proving that no obstacle is too big to overcome after a devastating gym injury that changed her life. Charlotte Patterson found a new way to pursue her passion for bodybuilding, and Kyle Simchuk shares her inspiring story in Arizona.
It was a dream years in the making. At 51 years old, Charlotte Peterson stepped onto the bodybuilding stage for the first time.
I was very nervous, and it wasn't until I got my pictures back that I thought, wow, I did really good.
She quickly fell in love with the sport and competed in 4 more shows in 2022, but a freak accident the following year would change everything. Charlotte was doing back squats on a Smith machine when it happened.
And then it was on my fourth set that all of a sudden my back burst.
The active mother of 5 couldn't feel her legs.
My L1 vertebrae burst in half, and my part of it went into my spinal cord and created instant paralysis from the waist down.
Peterson was in surgery within an hour. Doctors told her the injury resulted in incomplete paraplegia. She could no longer walk or stand on her own.
You have hope that, okay, things are going to get really better, really fast, but then they don't, and then you realize all that has, this is my new life. This is my life. I'm in a chair, and I wake up and the chair is sitting right there by my bedside. And that's what I do every day.
Adjusting wasn't easy, but Peterson refused to let her circumstances define her. Then she discovered women's wheelchair bodybuilding.
And I got really excited, and it was just like, I didn't care whatever happened with my life. I'm like, at least I can go, get back into bodybuilding and get back on stage.
After training and adapting, her hard work paid off. Peterson earned first place at the Arnold Amateurs last year and received her pro card after winning the NPC Wheelchair Nationals.
She's absolutely fabulous. She works her ass off 24/7. She has to give it 110%.
Peterson is hoping to inspire more women to compete in wheelchair bodybuilding to boost the number of competitors in her sport.
You just have to figure out how to make life work and keep going.
What an incredible story. That might be my favorite of the day. A true inspiration. With hard work and dedication, anything is possible. That was Kyle Simchuk reporting. Now, the public park we're going to show you here has deep cultural significance to a community in Seattle, but now its future is in the hands of a new generation. Shante Sumter sits down with students who are not only helping with the designs out there, but they're also learning the important history of the park. Take a look.
You might not expect a video game to play a role in city planning, but these kids are using the virtual world to make a real world impact.
Who wants to help with a treehouse?
Brianna Deck and Sabrina Ali are a part of a team from the William Gross Center for Cultural Innovation. They spent a week inside Minecraft laying out their vision for what Judkins Park could become.
We managed to organize a lot of things that are very likely to happen, and then there's like a list of things that are very possible, but only if we manage to get the first things possible, like the priorities.
Those priorities include renovating the restrooms, upgrading the spray park and playground, and making sure all kids, regardless of ability, can enjoy the space.
I think it would be pretty cool, just like thinking about being able to take my family to Judkins one day and just be like, I made that, I designed that, I helped do that.
This project isn't just about improving the park, it's about honoring its history. Seattle Parks and Rec teamed up with Africatown Community Land Trust to ensure the Black community's voice was central to the process because of the deep cultural significance.
There's a lot of history that went into creating that park. Students are not always aware of the legacy and the blood that went into creating this park and the obstacles that were done through redlining and other types of discriminatory acts within the Central District.
Back in the 1940s, this site was an open dump, but the community stepped up, working alongside the city to transform it into a park. Beginning with the Black Community Festival in 1952, for 70 years, Judkins Park has been home to community events like Emoji Fest and Protest. Ty Griffin, program manager at the William Gross Center, says learning this history gave students a deeper appreciation for their work.
They began to unfold with understanding that, oh, this is bigger than just Minecraft. This is bigger than just design. There are people that created this opportunity for us to have this park.
I bet this lesson will stay with the students forever. That is incredible. That was Shante Sumter reporting. All right, let me put my sports cap on. The NFL Combine is known for showcasing the best of the best in football, but hey, this year it also gave viewers something else to enjoy. Sports reporter Scotty Grange shows us how some unique names stole the show in Indiana. Take a look.
Life at the NFL Combine is all about making a name for yourself. But so many prospects already have spectacular names. Guys like Tonka, Ice, Rocket, and Pooh? I love a unique name. You be you, Pooh.
Where'd it come from for you? Okay, so unique story. So both my parents' nickname was actually Pooh when they were younger. Nobody knew my nickname unless you was like immediate family.
Where did Tonka come from? Were you a big fan of the Tonka trucks as a kid or something?
No, actually my dad told me that. I never played with them.
My name is Ice Sauce Waxter, so ice, sauce. I got hot sauce and I got ice, so I stay with ice.
Do you feel like you got to go to a yellow team to represent the yellow Tonka truck now?
No sir, I don't think so. Whatever team.
When you get an interception, does the stadium play Ice Ice Baby?
In college, no, we did not. I hope that's something that could transition for me. That would be nice.
I ended up catching the interception and taking it all the way home for a touchdown. I'm celebrating with my teammates. My mom, who is my biggest fan.
In Nigeria, my dad's dad was like a chief, kind of like a king, you know what I'm saying? So my dad wanted to keep that alive. So my big brother's name is Prince. My name's Prince Lee. My little brother's name is Prince Will, and then the last one's Princeton.
Cool. Yeah. She was yelling and she was screaming. My auntie, they ringing cowbells, and all my friends are like, "Who is Pooh?" They only knew me as Chris. I was like, "Who is Pooh? Who is Pooh?" I tried to run and hide behind my pops. He dying laughing historically on the sideline.
Unique names aren't new here to us in Colorado. Think of Shedeur Sanders, because he's about to be the first ever Shedeur to play in the NFL. In fact, he'll actually be the first ever Shedeur to play in any of the 4 major professional American sports leagues.
Now nobody knows that my real name is Chris. So everybody, if you was to walk around and was like, "Oh, Chris Paul," they'll be like, "That's your real name?"
I've heard some pretty unique nicknames throughout my life. There's Pookie, Ray Ray. I used to call my brother Tank because even though he's my baby brother, he's been taller than me since he was probably like 12. So he's a big guy, Tank. Now, double names seem to be the common theme here. I like it. Pooh. Very cute. That was Scotty Grange reporting. And we still have more for you ahead on Featured. We'll tell you why these self-proclaimed grannies, look at them go. They are winning in life. We take you out to California for that story. Oh, did you hear that? A sensory phenomenon is racking up millions of views on social media. We got a closer look at ASMR and why so many people are subscribing to the calm and quiet sound. Welcome back. Now, you've probably noticed a lot more ASMR videos on your social media feeds. If you're unsure about what that is, ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. That's the soothing videos. And they are booming in popularity right now. Heidi Wigdahl takes a closer look at the trend in Minnesota.
When it's quiet enough to hear a pin drop.
Hello, everybody.
That's Brooke Schoenemann's cue.
Today's video.
To start recording. Through Brooke's YouTube, her soft sounds
I have this really special one.
elicit a loud response.
It's very nostalgic.
More than 21,000 people are subscribed to Best Life by Brooke ASMR.
Like, I really love doing it. It just makes me happy. It calms me down.
Brooke first discovered ASMR videos more than a decade ago.
And at first I was like, this is so weird. Like, I just didn't get it. And then it just took one video, but I was like, oh, I get it. I was already making videos. I'm very millennial. I've been making videos and putting them online since middle school. And I just thought I was like, maybe I could be good at it. And then
8 years ago, Brooke tapped into a type of video that's now all over social media.
ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And so it is a response that about 20% of the population have to certain stimuli, which is a sound or a visual or a sensation. And it causes a tingling sensation kind of down their body, down their spine.
Dr. Karen Ryan, a licensed psychologist with Nystrom and Associates, says while research is still new.
When they do scans of the brain while people are observing or taking in ASMR, is that there's certain parts of the brain that are activated. So the nucleus accumbens, which is associated with kind of pleasure or positivity, good feelings. And then it's also part of the brain that kind of sends those sensory kind of relaxation.
Today's video is going to be ASMR with my necklaces.
While not everyone responds to ASMR, many still find it relaxing or satisfying. And there are all different types of videos.
yeah, tapping videos, scratching videos, soft speaking, whispering.
Waterford crystal glasses.
Even water. Midwest Water Supply in White Bear Lake fills pools, hot tubs, and hockey rinks.
The first video I posted had 1 million views, so from there I knew I had to keep making them. I wasn't surprised.
Clayton Zeller says soon he had views from all across the world.
So I've been doing this for 15 years.
Then Dad George got clued in.
He came and told me that he's been posting videos on TikTok and has 300,000 followers. And I said, 300,000 followers? How can that be? And then I said, what's TikTok?
The family-run business now has on TikTok just under 6 million followers.
I think just the sound of water flowing is always a calming thing people like to hear.
Or the sound of tapping from a Minnesota garage turned studio.
I have gotten so many messages and so many comments throughout the years that are like I'm a new mom and your videos got me through my postpartum phase.
As an ASM artist, Brooke has found a community.
Even though I'm just talking to a camera, it feels like I'm talking to my people.
A community created in the quietest corners.
Alrighty, that was Heidi Wigdahl reporting. What do you say, team? Should I try it? Yeah, I get the thumbs up from the team here. All right. up next, a carousel ride that was missing a very rare piece for 40 years. We'll tell you where it was found after it was stolen from an amusement park in Connecticut. Welcome back. A one-of-a-kind carousel piece has been missing for 40 years in Connecticut until now. Take a look here. The sea creature has resurfaced after it was stolen from the Quasi amusement park back in 1985, leaving many folks to wonder where it was all this time. Jim Altman spoke to the co-owner of the amusement park to get the answers.
It's been a circuitous route, but after 40 years, the sea monster is making another round.
We're getting this back after 40 years of MIA. The figure was stolen. We kept our eyes out all these years, and here it's come back.
The co-owner of Quasi Amusement Park in Middlebury, George Francis, finally has his hippocampus. Stolen in 1985, the 125-year-old hand-carved sea monster is nearly home.
I get a phone call from this guy called Rock, and Rock says, "George, this is Rock. You ever find that hippocampus, that sea dragon?" I'm like, "No, Rock, never did." And then he goes, "I think I have it." And it turns out Rock is a broker for carousel pieces.
No one knows who took it 4 decades ago, but a grateful George has a piece of his family's history back.
1, 2, 3, up.
It's now part of the carnival atmosphere at WRF Designs in Plainville, where the restoration process is about to begin.
Let's lift him up a little bit and turn the pole.
Here, Bill Finkenstein and his team work on carousel keepsakes from around the world.
Prime, paint, and during that whole process, you're always looking for something special to pop up on the surface. And that's what's happening.
It is a new chapter for an old favorite. And as the saying goes, what comes around goes around. Or perhaps in the carousel world, what goes around comes around.
Alrighty, that was Jim Altman reporting. And before we go, I'd like to introduce you to a group of high kickers out in California that are getting some national recognition. Take a look. All right, look at them go. The Rhinestone Grannies have been crowned as the senior dance group of America's best legs of 2024. Now, the group of grandmothers were formed back in 1998 with a mission to share their love of entertaining with others. These ladies sing, dance, and they even do impersonations.
I love showing my grandkids that no matter how old you are, you can still dance.
I thought you were going to say I love showing off my legs.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Hey, if you got them, flaunt them. Rhinestone Grannies say they hope their performances will encourage audiences to embrace each day as a gift. Now check out this video here. Boise police taking kids on a little fun ride down the slopes in Idaho. This is all part of the Boise PAL program, which is a youth outreach program. And the goal is to foster positive interaction with the youth like this. And this event was such a big hit, we can't really tell who's having more fun, the officers or the kids. Great stuff there. Thank you so much for joining us for Featured. I hope you found a little something that inspired you or simply made you smile. Until next time, make it a great one.